Hello and welcome to GreenFleet Talks. I'm Jill Noel, founder of Hosted by Jill and Global Women in EV Day and a co-founding director of EVA England. And I am delighted to be your podcast host today. Today's episode is supported by the AA, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Ryan Norton, who is Head of Connected Services and Future Mobility at the AA. We'll be exploring how technology is reshaping fleet operations, from the evolving role of the fleet manager through to safety, electrification, and what the future of fleet management might look like. Before we get into the detail, Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
Could you start by telling us a little bit about your role and how it connects to connected services and future mobility?
Yep, no problem. So good to meet you. So I'm Ryan Norton, head of Connected Car, as you said, and future mobility. So my role is twofold, really. I look after the ingestion of connected data into our business. So through multiple sources, that's our work with OEM partners, telematics providers, and how we then use that data to enhance our operations across the AA. So whether that's our roadside and our SMR operations. As part of that as well, it's also about what we can do with that data to bring new products to market. So, is there a space based on our proprietary data from roadside and our capabilities in the connected data space on actually what we can assist our customers with from a proactive, predictive maintenance perspective. And then also alongside of that, the future mobility part is looking at new services, new industry trends on actually, where we need to sit within our supporting our B2B customers based on upcoming technological shifts in the fleet market.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ryan. And I mean, we really are living in very much a data-driven world these days. So if we start with the bigger picture, how is technology reshaping the role of the fleet manager and really transforming the way that fleets are operated?
Yeah, I think really, just a summary from it, it's only really been over the last few months I've kind of been able to summarize this. I think we've moved from a reactive to a predictive state. I think we've seen that shift over the last 10 years. Telematics businesses are far more advanced than they were 10, 15 years ago. The information, the data we can take off vehicles and the trends that we can map out has allowed us to really move from reactive to predictive. I think, we rolled the clock back 15 years ago. Fleet managers, the role of a fleet manager was responsible, operationally for the fleet, being reactive to the issues that had happened, thinking about managing the vehicles and the maintenance on vehicles, and really have migrated into having partners and suppliers that they can extract data from to help them predict and map out the future state of the fleet. So I think we've already been on that journey. I think really the next stage for us is moving from prediction to prevention. And I think that's where the latest technology trends, I don't say trends, but the initiatives that we're seeing across the board will allow us to step into that real prevention, that prevention state. And I think a lot of that is down to the use of AI. So it can occasionally be an overused term where we are currently, but I feel actually the tools and capabilities that allows us as technology partners and partners to the fleet industry to leverage will allow us truly to really start to step into that preventative state rather than predictive.
Thanks, Ryan. And I think that probably gives us a nice segue into the next sort of topic of discussion. And because one area where that transformation is particularly important is road safety, which of course remains, a really critical priority for all fleet operators. So how is technology helping to protect drivers, to protect passengers and other road users?
Yeah, and I think that comes back into preventative. Good segue into that. Historically, if we take one example, in-cab camera technology provided by many organisations, and that had often been around monitoring the driver to be safe. So not suggesting that the primary use of that tooling is to monitor the driver while they're in their working environment, but actually it was to monitor to make sure they are following a set of behaviours and sort of algorithms in essence to ensure they're being as safe as they can possibly be on the road. So we've got into potential preventative from safety there. But actually, some of the tools I've seen recently, I was at the commercial vehicle show, what was it, probably a month or so ago now, and actually some of the tools available through the use of AI in that in-cab technology is now quick enough to tell the driver that there is an issue. Previously it was about review, and maybe the speed of the technology used wasn't able to alert before the potential incident. And I saw some great examples. I won't mention any of the providers where actually the usage of that tool has now got it down to a point in time where they can alert the driver before they're going to hit something, before they're going to steer off the road. So that's one great example from the use of technology there. And then just general AI use over the data and the patterns that we've got coming from vehicles, whether that's OEM connectivity or telematics connectivity, to really enhance those patterns around harsh braking, changing in driving style, which will help out map out some fatigue indicators. Previously you kind of needed to know or alert someone that they were suffering from fatigue when driving, but actually some of those patterns that can be assessed with AI will really help map out that actually maybe those journeys that they're on, those regular journeys, they're seeing driving styles that are suggesting there's fatigue, and those journeys can potentially be adjusted. So AI, certainly the use of AI is going to support a lot of the technology partners in the industry to really enhance their safety solutions.
Amazing. Wow. And we'll stay with AI for a moment, because alongside safety, fleet managers are also navigating the transition to zero tailpipe emission vehicles, of course, which brings a new layer of complexity. So how is technology and increasingly AI supporting fleet operators through that change?
Yeah, I think we've got there's two, the EV and electrification. I see it in two clear segments. You've got, when we talk about business commercial use driving, you've got the company car driver with an EV, and you've got the LCV working fleet with an EV, and I think they're really two completely different use cases. I think we're probably at a point now, if someone can you can win the hearts and minds of a company vehicle driver, that a company car is perfectly usable for an EV for EV travel on a regular basis around the country. Of course, home charging and charge point operator charging comes with some complexities. If you've got a home charger, it makes the life a lot easier. That world is very different in LCV and in fleet and on working vehicles. That actually you've got a number of components there. That is, are you charging the vehicle, the route planning, can you charge back at your depot? It's great if you have a huge depot with lots of charging capability, but if you've got a small location. So for me, I think the tools, the interconnectivity of the industry, the AI tools to map out routes versus charging capabilities, and also using those tools to go into the networks, into live systems in essence, and work out actually that route versus the available charging, what's working on that network, could really enhance the step for working LCV fleets to start to be able to make that move somewhat quicker with a reduced risk profile of doing so, because actually tools are there to set, really treat. We're not just talking mapping out routes here. We're talking about mapping routes and the capabilities to charge upon those routes. So I think that will allow a step. Of course, we've talked about analysis, looking at historic data. That's something that, a great use case. But I think actually that live position of charge point operators, the vehicle, and the route management will certainly allow that that migration into EV for heavy use fleet vehicles a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And looking ahead, it's really clear that technology is going to continue to evolve really rapidly, and that's going to bring opportunities and also new challenges at the same time. But which emerging technologies do you believe will have the biggest impact on the future of fleet management?
We spoke a lot about AI there, but I think connected data. We've had the change in EU legislation last year, with OEMs having to give more data off their vehicle, and the UK don't quite know where we sit on that legislation at the current point in time. But as with many EU legislations, much of it is passed through to us because OEMs are working across the total marketplace in Europe. So I think that deeper level of information and connected data from vehicles directly is going to have a huge shift for us. Previously, we've been reliant on what can we get out of a vehicle with an aftermarket device, as opposed to the full range of data that comes from a vehicle, everything from DTC codes, EML lights, but even a deeper level on that, especially with the onboard software systems that are now being deployed to EV vehicles. So I think that's going to be a huge shift, because we are going to, and we're not quite there as an industry yet. There's plenty of businesses like the AA. What we're doing is ingesting that data, normalizing that data, making that data usable. But I think if we step probably couple of years, 2-3 years ahead, we're in essence going to have a live view of that vehicle, a live view, not just a live view of where it is, but a live view of the complete health of that vehicle, any software issues, software updates that need to be provided. So that, as a fleet manager, is going to make us feel a lot more in control. It's almost like having our vehicles sat in an office with us, in front of us, that we can interact with on a daily basis. I think that comes with huge potential, but potentially huge risk and huge considerations. But it is certainly going to make I feel a fleet manager feel more in control of their fleet directly, as opposed to being away from it and then almost reviewing or viewing that fleet through a slightly historic lens.
That's amazing. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a really fascinating and really forward-looking conversation. You've shared really valuable perspectives on how technology is transforming fleet operations, improving safety, and supporting the transition to zero-emission vehicles. And for our listeners, it's clear that the future of fleet management will be increasingly connected, intelligent, and data-driven. But also that success depends on applying that technology in a way that works in the real world. Thank you to everyone listening. If you found today's discussion useful, do keep an eye out for future episodes of GreenFleet Talks, where we'll continue exploring the people and the innovations shaping the future of fleet decarbonisation. So until next time, thank you for joining us.